Wow. Um, Texas these days is just crazy. I don't know if it's the same thing wherever you are, but man, the climate, the temperatures is just 2 or 3 days ago, it was crazy warm. And then I was happy, like, okay, we're getting back to our Texas. And then the other day, I left the house. I was supposed to go somewhere like 11, and then I tried opening my car and it was stuck because it was freezing. And I woke up in the morning, there was a little bit of snow. And I was like, what is happening? And then I remember for some time now, some group of persons have been singing climate change, climate change, climate change. And then I was like, wow, am I ignoring? Am I supposed to start paying attention? And then I remember there was a time also in the Bible where someone was saying, oh, it's going to rain, it's going to rain. And people were like, we'll not get your time. And nowadays, I know someone who is actually ringing the bell in my community. He's shouting and shouting, oh, it's possible. We can become the next Jews. Oh, it's possible. We can do this. Oh, it's possible. We can move from 1% actually enjoying their life to about 99% of us actually doing so well in the United States. I feel like people are ignoring, not only people, me myself, I ignore. However, I will not decide to bring it for you every week twice. By the way, I apologize for the other week. I will explain at the end what happened. I'm not bringing my boss. And when I bring one, I know it will do, right? At least we go for celebrate, we go for clap, we go for shouts. Boss,
Yes, yes.
welcome.
Thank you, Toride. I mean, I feel like we missed a long, long time. I feel excited always to be here. This is an amazing platform, and I thank you for. Let's sound the alarm. Let's tell people we too can do it, and let's start doing it.
Wow, man, thank you very much. By the way, I apologize for the other day. As they ever talk, man, they make program, and then I got to decide what could happen. I
Yes.
went into some far end where the network is horrible, and then on coming back, the traffic and everything. Yeah, we are here today. But by the way, I talked about something when I opened the show. This whole idea of someone sounding the alarm, someone ringing the bell, someone shouting and crying and begging our people, oh, there's this information that we can use. There's this information out there that we can take advantage of, and people just staying mute and not wanting to jump into. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that's happening, especially in our community?
It's brainwashing. Our brains have been we've been brainwashed for too long to think a certain way.
Mhm,
And when you're brainwashed, it takes a long time for you to start thinking otherwise. I
mhm,
think people, the mindset game, that's why it has to be a continuous way. We have to say the same things, keep saying it, so
mhm,
that we too can try to change the mindsets, the mind that has been set for everyone.
mhm.
We have been made to think in a particular way because some person was benefiting from us thinking that particular way.
Wow.
And we were taught that way in school. We went through kindergarten, we went through primary schools. Our parents also taught us the same because they didn't know any better. So they
Wow.
taught us the same. It is now a challenge for us to change that mindset. So
Hmm.
that's a common thing. I don't think it will just happen overnight, but it
Mhm.
takes a crusade to try to change the mindset and to make people start seeing the benefits of the mindset change. And that's what we're trying to do.
Are you by that saying making money, making more money, becoming wealthy is not only tied to the information you have or it's also tied to your mindset?
It's tied to your mindset. It because your mindset has been set in a particular way by people, by
Mhm,
your parents, by the school system, by everything. We
mhm.
have been told that. I mean, when we look at our communities, everybody is struggling really hard to pay off their mortgage
Yeah.
because our mindset, we've been told that our wealth is in our home. Our
Mhm,
home is our primary source of wealth. So when
mhm.
you start working in our communities, the first thing, and I'm saying people who are in America, people who
Ye
are even in Africa,
yeah,
our parents used to work and earn $20,000,
yeah,
20,000 CFA a month. And they were able to build houses because they were told that that is the way.
yeah.
Build house, build house, build house. And that was great They did great things out of those. So
Mhm,
it and those bases, the basis of their building that property was
mhm,
based on savings. They
mhm.
had to save. They went to go on jangi houses, did all sorts of things to make those things happen in that particular way because they were in a system which was completely different. So this thing, our parents taught us that I only was able to send you to school. I only was able to buy the home that we are living in, me, your mom, and you guys. I have been able to do A, B, C because of the hard work I did through saving. Every dime I took, I made sure you went to the best schools, and then I made sure that education, going to the normal school, to the normal school system, where you come out. I mean, you come out and then you start doing the same things your dad taught you. The system teaches you that way. So that education, that mindset has already set us in a particular way.
Wow.
In the sense that when we move to another system, our parents were not in this city, in this country. Even those who came to this country, they were doing what the system was teaching them. The
Very true.
system, many people are shouting out there that your primary wealth building machine is going to be your home. That's the only place where you can save money and will grow, and then you can leave it to your children and this and this and this. So that's the story. We
Wow.
have a particular mindset, we've been tilted in a particular way. And to unwind that thing takes a lot of hard work. Some
Wow.
people are getting it, many are not getting it. I had a client yesterday, if you permit me say this.
Yeah.
I had a client yesterday who came to me, and this lady is struggling with building her own estate. She comes to me. I mean, I had an event where I spoke at the event, and this lady was wild. She wanted that change. She wanted to change that game because she found herself
Yeah.
exactly in all what I was saying. It said
Yeah.
she told me it's as if I was speaking to her. So she comes to me and she tells me, I ask her so many things. When I do an onboarding with her, she tells me everything.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things she has that she's worked so hard for is that her home, which she bought for about $600,000, is almost paid off.
Mhm.
That is great. Her biggest thing now is, how do I build more real estate? How do I build more things? She's a business person, but she doesn't see that. She doesn't see like some of us.
Wow.
Wealthy people will pay off assets. They won't pay off their homes
Hmm.
because their home is the bank to keep making things. I will talk about that. But I tell people, when you sit on $500,000 in asset in your home and you keep paying mortgage, the day you fall and you don't have a job, if you don't have a job, because the only reason you are staying there and being able to pay down that $500,000 that's sitting in that home is because you have a job. If you become incapacitated, you will be forced to do two things. Number one, you must sell that home. You must sell it. Or if you don't sell it, you'll be foreclosed on it. And when you get foreclosed, most of that money will disappear. Most of that money. And most of us are always an inch away from losing our jobs. Most of
Mhm.
us. And when you lose your job, that home, even getting equity out of that home, you cannot get it anymore. You cannot. Because the only basis of you getting the equity was your ability to pay in the future. So the
Yeah.
bank doesn't accept you anymore for, even though you have $500,000 in that and the problem is that that home is not an income generating asset for you. If you had taken that money and invested and built one, two, three other activities which are generating assets, generating income, then you can talk to the bank. So we're always very close to our own demise just because our mindsets are all thwarted.
Wow. Boss, I like what you said earlier, especially about mindset back home and over here. I was talking to someone the other day and they were asking me like, "Hey, Sako, you don't stay in North America for some time. What is one of the difference you've noticed between America and Africa or Cameroon?" And I was telling them, for me, one of the biggest differences is the fact that America has offered us the opportunity to enjoy things before we can even afford them. Contrary to Africa, where you must be able to afford these things before you can enjoy them. Take, for instance, a home in Africa, like you said, you must have the money cash, then you go ahead and build your home. But in America, there are ways you cannot have the money, but you're sure you're going to have the money someday, and then you can start enjoying the home while you're getting the money and you're doing all of these things.
Uh,
Um,
Let me
uh,
answer. Let me answer to that before
yes.
I don't want to stop you. If you look at 90% of us who are sitting here today,
Yeah.
90, if not 99%, in Africa, how we got in, our father built our homes. They
Mm-mm.
just started the homes and then they
Mhm.
put a roof on it, put the doors,
Mm.
and then we all started living in the house.
Yeah.
And for many of us, up to today, that home has never been
It's
completed.
been completed.
It's never been completed. So you go to a street and you look at all the houses. They have the door, they have the window. Maybe you put a zinc in front of the
Yeah.
window, and that is the way it is. And for years and years, we are not able to do that. We're unable to complete that house. In America, if the house is not finished and approved by the city that home is finished, you
Cannot
cannot
move
step in.
in. Yeah.
So basically, most of us there, because people had to be building it bit by bit, bit by bit. They
Yeah.
get to a point they cannot finish, they cannot build it, and then the house is up, it stays there forever. Most of us, as we're speaking, most of us I'm talking to,
Yeah.
most of us, our homes are not finished.
Eh,
That
eh,
home is sitting there for years. It's been there for your lifetime. You met it like that, and it's like that. Is that the way it works? Yes.
and
I just
the
wanted.
funny thing now is, even when you go to complete the house, your dad
Yes.
will tell you, no, 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 not this one. This is my
Yes.
special home. I like it the
Yes.
way it is. Go and build
Yes.
a new one down the road.
Absolutely. Go to your street where you grew up and look at how many homes are completed there. You'll be hard pressed to find one.
Wow. Boss, one other thing I noticed is you've been having this speaking engagement with so many, not only podcasts, seminars, and all of that. How is it going?
It's going great. And
Mhm.
and again, like anything, like building a business, like doing anything, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent, and
Yeah.
you don't have to be discouraged because you're going to get bumps on the road. A lot of
Mhm.
bumps on the road. There
Mhm.
is nothing that you're going to do without going through bumps on the road. I have clients who come to me, and in the first year, they come to me maybe in December. They say, "Okay, let's do we do some strategies, and then we're starting." That's the first year. And then
Mhm.
if that first year we are able to save you maybe 60%, 30% of what you're 40% of what you're making, which is all the time about 4 times of what you ever paid me.
Mhm.
And then you're like, okay, I want to see this. People get discouraged so quickly. I'm not saying that we don't give them the value. We are giving them the value. And then you say, okay, when you go to the second year and you're starting the business, you tell this guy, last year we started in November or we
Mhm.
started in August. I want us to start in January so that we can implement very easily without us having to struggle with calling you many times, doing things to make things happen. They say, no,
Yeah.
no, no, I don't want to start that now. I want you to finish with my taxes so that I can see what's on there. I said, that is a mindset I mean, it's just madness. It's
Mhm.
madness. Because I want us, the value I want to give you is on a year round. Don't
Mhm.
limit me to doing it for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. When you come towards the end of the year, the pressure is all over the place because everybody's trying to get it. Don't
Yeah.
push me to that. That's why I want you the first year. I don't care. We are going to spend a lot of time. But when we go into the second year, I want us to start in January. I tell people that let's start in January. Many people say, I've not seen this. I'm like, crazy stuff. Let's don't we have that mindset where it is about results right now. We're talking about something that we want to build over time because every year I promise my clients that every year you're going to buy properties. Every
Mhm.
year you're going to do this. And I want that to be done in time. Let's start as early as you can. People wait until October when they start seeing that my taxes are crazy. Let me look for somebody. You cannot, I mean, especially if you're on W2. You're a W2 person, you are staying at a place. We have to change that mindset and start working with confidence, pushing things to happen, not restricting ourselves to the bare minimum. We are bare minimum people in the way we structure things. When you are doing something, give it time to happen.
Mhm.
Give it time to happen.
Boss, you're sounding like there's a difference between the traditional year and a tax year. Is it the same thing? Does the tax year still begin also from January to December, or it starts from some other month and end with some other month?
So let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Most people will tell you that you are, and not most people,
Mm-hmm.
99% of us, we don't own C corporations.
Mm-hmm.
Our elected tax year starts from January to December.
Mm-hmm.
When we work for somebody, the company is giving us the fiscal year is January to December. That's the fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you came to someone and you wanted to get benefits of something and you're trying to get it, you're starting it in April, you already lost 4 months
Mm-hmm.
of strategy. The tax season starts from January to April. But for tax strategy, it starts in January to this. It starts
Mm-hmm.
on January. And if you can start early, you're going to play the game more easier. You're going to play the best games, and going to be able to take the full advantage where you can pay up. You will pay zero, and you are able to be building that things that we're promising you. First of
Wow.
all, if I tell you that you're going to do maybe a particular strategy, for to struggle to do that strategy, you see people coming to you, oh, I could not have time because we started late, we do this. So why don't you start in time to do those things? Why are you waiting for something? Trust the process. If you don't trust the process, you're always going to fail. Trust the process. If you go to any place where you are starting, any person who is coaching you is going to tell you one thing: trust the process. Trust the process. If you don't trust the process and you're trying to involve, you're trying to become the coach, coaching the people how to do it for you, you're going to fail. If you go to somebody, you're paying that person to help you structure, trust the process.
Wow.
Don't become that person who is bringing your mindset and wanting it to work your way. If it's to
Mm.
work your way, it will get the result that you've gotten for the last 20 years.
Wow.
You get the same results.
Boss, you're insisting or you're emphasizing strategy. Can you again? I know you've talked about that a lot of times. When you talk about strategy and starting in January to prepare for towards the end of the year, what is that supposed to mean?
Let me tell you, for example, I have a lot of people who come to me, they're making a lot of money on W2. They come to me. When you come to me for W2 with it, you are making a lot of money in W2. You're paying a lot of money in taxes. When I talk about strategy, strategy starts at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You can come in November, you can come in October. We are going to get you. When you come in, the later you come in the process, the less you have in terms of how much you can do in terms of the strategies that could be done for you. You're
Mm-hmm.
probably sitting on money that you maybe could buy a rental property and qualify as a real estate professional, get not only an asset which is 10 times the value of what you had sitting in the bank, and
Mm-hmm.
then but also use it to cancel all your taxes in year one. Now you come to me, you've limited me to 3 months of the end of the year. So basically, some of the key strategies, we start looking for peripheral strategies to apply to you. Because this thing is based on the tax code. It's not something that you just come, this man will do it. If you don't qualify, you cannot get it. You cannot get it. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be made to qualify. Give the time to your specialist to be able to tell you, when I tell you do this, do this, do this. If you don't do it at the end of the day, you cannot qualify. You cannot do nothing. So the tax year, I tell people when I get you for the first year as a client, I'm going to tell you that first year we're going to do the best. But when we get into the second year, I can guarantee you that let's start early and build, because that is your wealth building. There is
Mm-hmm.
nothing else you will do that will give you more wealth than the thing I'm telling you to do. If you think that you can do it the way you want to do it, you'll get the results you've had for the last 20 years. So that's why I say, tell people, trust the process. Strategy is about the strategist telling you things to do, and then you trust the process and move with that. That is the game in America. That is your step to building wealth. You're building wealth. It's not, and I tell people, it's not about an individual. If somebody comes to you and tells you, hey, I'm a strategist, I do this, I do that, you want to see how is he structured himself. Because no single person can do all this, I mean, everybody in America, when you're building wealth, there are different people. That's why in our company, we have how many? We have 8 different professionals. We have
Hmm.
attorneys. We have attorneys. We have financial advisors on the insurance side, financial advisors on the retirement side, financial advisors on the investment side. We have real estate brokers. We have loan officers. We have energy experts. We have CPAs. We have accountants. We have bookkeepers. All those. We have even marketing specialists who help our clients. All these things, it's a team. It's a heavy team that's working for you. It's a heavy thing. If you go and meet somebody, somebody tell you, "Oh, I'm just sitting there. I'm at this." He doesn't have a team. He cannot do nothing. He maybe can do one, two small child. He cannot do nothing. It takes a heavy team to work for you to avoid those hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. It takes a team.
Wow.
Because everything in America is certified. If you don't have the certification, you cannot do the things. It's not because you're a CPA that you can do. You can only do very little as a CPA and help people. You can sign financial statements. That's it. And then maybe do one or two things. But you can never do what the financial advisor on the insurance side does. You can never do what the financial advisor who plays with the stock market does. You can never do what the financial advisor who helps you. What do you do? Helps you structure your retirement, and also maybe will help you self-direct your 401k does. You cannot do that.
Oh.
You cannot play the game of a real estate broker. You cannot tell a client as well. These are all the things that are in the tax code that make you wealthy. And those are the things that you leverage to pay no taxes. No CPA can just sit on his chair and tell you, "I'm going to help you." That's why you pay a lot of taxes when you go with the CPA, because you cannot do nothing. So it takes a heavy team behind this thing. You look at Charles and you say, "Oh, Charles is a strategist." I'm just a leader of a huge team behind it. And people have to be ready. The reason the wealthy are getting wealthy and wealthy and wealthy, because they play the game and they trust the system. Trust the system.
I like you when you lean to your microphone. The sound is better. It's really,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you keep talking about world building and you always mention real estate. Is real estate the only avenue for us to build wealth?
No, absolutely not. But is it? Because you don't play with clients on areas that they don't have any expertise on.
Mm-hmm.
Most people in our community are not sophisticated investors.
Mm-hmm.
Most immigrants, which is what our team has been focusing on, whether you're a third generation, fifth generation, most immigrants, they are not sophisticated with playing on some sophisticated skill. I'm not saying this to debunk, but most people are so used to, they want to have a real asset that they can see, they can touch. And real estate is not, real estate is that thing that when somebody buys, if somebody tells somebody, if you own an asset for $1 million or for $500,000 or for $200,000, you tell them they own an asset, that asset is just a piece of paper which you see there on Wall Street. They're kind of shaky in our communities. People like, and about 60% of my clients, they will tell you, "I want to grow through real estate. I want to be buying properties." That's why we talk about it. But real estate is not the only thing. There's so many different strategies that make you a lot of money. But real estate the advantage of real estate is that even when the market drops, the asset is real. That's why they call it real estate. The market is real. It doesn't just lose to zero.
Mm-hmm.
It falls, but it's there. The asset is going to, and the real estate market has been like this over the last 50 years, over the last 70 years, like this. It's growing like this. I have a client who bought a property in La Jolla, California. He bought a property there for just 3 years ago. He bought that property for, he's a physician. He's making quite a bit of money. He bought the property for $2 million. Today, that property is $8 million. $8 million. It's real estate. So there's value a lot. Do you think he can invest? He can buy a village with $8 million sitting as asset in it. He can take that equity and buy a village somewhere. So real estate, I'm not only saying about real estate. That's why I told you that we have a team of investment advisors, retirement advisors, insurance advisors. Insurance is one of the big places where people put a lot of money. You take small money and you buy your retirement out of it. Insurance advisors, you have real estate brokers, you have all these, you have so many people that are there to help you. There are three things that have built the most wealth in America. Number one is owning a business, creativity, owning a business. It has built all sorts of wealth in America. The most wealthy people, you look at them, they own the business. Number two is the stock market. We cannot abandon the stock market. And then real estate, most of this money is kept in real estate. And real estate is where go to Washington, D.C., and see most of those people who are making the rules. They have all sorts of real estate. That's why they give, it is inherently biased. The tax code is inherently biased to real estate investing. So we have to play with it as well.
Boss,
Yes.
when we're talking about real estate, are we talking about just real estate over here, or it doesn't matter where the property is? It can still help you with your taxes and making more money, or yeah, getting that
So, so,
leverage. Yeah.
so that is a great question. That is a great question. When you own real estate that is in other countries, you may not be able to use it to you may not be able to accelerate depreciation on that property the way you would in the United States. So there
Mhm.
are more advantages, especially on the tax side, for owning that real estate within the United States. Is it great to own real estate in places like Dubai, all those places? Yes.
Mhm.
They give you a lot of equity growth in your property. It's not
Mhm.
only about taxes. That's why when you have that's why, depending on where you are,
Yeah.
depending on whether you are whether you the source of the money, if
Yeah.
you are getting money, if you are using your retirement money, maybe your 401k, to acquire assets,
Mhm.
you can acquire those assets anywhere where there's value creation.
Mhm.
Why? Because you cannot use that asset to benefit on your tax return, because that is your 401k. Anytime you try to take advantage of any self-directed asset that is being held out there, maybe your 401k, your Roth IRA, or things like that, you
Mhm.
cannot benefit, you cannot take direct benefits out of there in the form of taking benefits. So you cannot take it to wipe off your ordinary income taxes with it. But you can use it to grow the equity. You multiply the equity. That's why some people take those things and they invest in any places. But if it comes to, so the source of the money, we will tell you what is the best place to invest in if you're playing in the real estate market. Yes.
Boss, you just talked about retirement money and using retirement money to invest. Can you expatiate a little bit on that? Maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Many of us are listening here who are sitting on 100,000 of 401k, 200,000, 300,000, half a million, $1 million of 401k. And that money you have been contributing to it all your life. The tax code says that. And that money, every year they bring you the report, they tell you, oh, that money has grown by 2%. Oh, it's lost by 3%. So your money is there kept in the stock market. It's invested in some cases very conservatively, or maybe if it's even if it's invested aggressively, it's still not growing at the rate you want to grow. Guess what?
Mhm.
The person who is managing your money, let's take, for example, Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, all these people out there. They are managing your money. Go and see how much the executives of Vanguard are earning a year. They make $70 million a year,
Hmm.
$100 million a year. Where do you think they make the money from? They are just managing your money. They are taking that money and investing, self-directing it, and investing in high yield buckets and making a lot of money from this for themselves and giving you 2% on the performance of your business. You too can do something. The tax code says when you can self-direct your 401k money, you can self-direct your Roth IRA money. And let's say you had $100,000 sitting in there. When you self-direct it, now you choose what you want to invest in. You can invest in mineral funds. You can invest in real estate. When you invest, let me take, for example, real estate. It means that that property, that money, you can put it as a down payment on a, let's say you had $100,000. You can convert that $100,000 into $1 million sitting in your 401k. A
Mhm.
million, just by taking that money and putting it as down payment on a $1 million property. That $100,000 you had there, you've just 10x that money. Now your 401k, now what is sitting there, the investment is actually a real estate that's sitting in there. And that real estate, now you can take the benefits of owning real estate. Your money was growing. Let's say your asset, that $100,000 was growing, let's say even at 7% a year. 7% means that on that $100,000, that your money was increasing. Your money was increasing by $7,000 a year. Now you just 10x it. it goes to $1 million. Even though there's a loan of $900,000, that person who gave you $900,000 has zero on the benefit that on the appraisal of that asset. You are getting all of it. It means that now, if it grows at that 7%, 7% is the average rate for the last 30 years for real estate. If it grows at that 7% means that every year you are getting $70,000 of asset appreciation. You only had $100,000. Now, only asset appreciation alone on that 100,000, because you invested in a certain way, is giving you $70,000 a year. That 70,000, you divide it by that 100,000 that you invested. Your return on investment is 70%. 70. You just multiplied that 7% by 10. It's now 70%. Someone is paying down that asset for you. Someone, because he's using that asset. That's someone who is paying down that asset. Guess what? Every year, if that $1 million reduced by, say, $60,000, $60,000 means that asset now that you had, that 100,000 that you had in your 401k, it is building just the payment, interest, income, the mortgage reduction is 60,000. That 60,000 is your benefit. It is 60% return on investment just for mortgage reduction. And then, I can go on, and you're getting cash flow, additional cash flow, because generally your mortgage is always less than the rental income. That's why when people use assets, they convert, take their homes, instead of investing so much in a home that you cannot live in because you're struggling to work. If you had invested in an income generating asset, it just gives you a big platform to play games. So we can talk about this, but that is what I mean. That is what investing in your retirement means that someone has to tell you how to do it the way that is non-conventional, but which the tax code says you can do it, and which others are using on your asset and making money. You can do the same.
Wow. Boss, we are 30 minutes already. It seemed like it was 5 minutes. Thank you very, very much for your time. Can you tell them where to find you, what to do if they needed to talk to you?
Simple. If you want to talk to me, you can come to www.chnadvisors.com. Maybe you want to post it there. That is, you go in there, and when you book that, you can book a free discovery call for an hour. When you book that call, they will ask you, where did you come from? You want to say you came from the basis of Toride. You'll get more benefits just by coming through Toride. That's number one. You can get me through Toride. You call me on Toride, but most importantly, follow me on all my social media platforms. We have so many perks that we're throwing out there. Every day you will learn something. And if you think that there's something that I said which is not correct, I'm okay for us to come and debate. Let's talk about these things. It is always okay for us to talk about things, because that's the only way we are all going to win. Let's talk. Let's talk about these things and see, how can we become part of the top 1%? How can we become the people who are running this country like all others, like all the other communities? I tell everybody that if you play the game we are talking about, if we play it for the next 3 to 5 years, you are going to find yourself in the top 1%. I say that and I mean it. Play the game, but follow the process. Follow the process. Trust the process. Let's win together.
Boss, thank you very, very much for today. I beg, join me for background. Come sort out that issue. It will only like 5 minutes, and then you feel leave a beg.
Okay.
And again, thank you. Guys, that's the reason why we call the show 30 minutes worth $1 million with Charles Njoya. Every time I talk to him, and like he said, you need to talk to him again and again and again and again and again. We need to have this man next to us. And the good thing is, we are actually living in times when it's possible. You understand? You have your smartphones, you have YouTube, you have, and he's spending a lot of money to create content for all of these pages. If you're not on Facebook, you're on Instagram, he got you covered. You're not on Instagram, you are on TikTok, he got you covered. You're not on TikTok, you feel like you're too mature, you want to watch long videos, you're on YouTube, he got you covered. And we're even preparing to start shooting longer videos where he takes his time to explain some of these things, because most of the times after he talks, people get to me inbox and, oh, Sako, you should have asked him this follow-up question, you should have done this. I refer them to, hey, go to his website, book for the free session, and talk to him. You understand? And they go there and they come back and they are always satisfied. But like he said, it should not be a situation of just today or this week and that's it. No. We want to keep these people closer to us because we don't have the time to be reading about taxes and studying about taxes and learning and what is Congress doing about this and what is the president executive order doing now. No, we don't have that time. We're already focused on something else. Why not exploit somebody who is investing a lot of time in these things? It's easy. He just talked. He said, yeah, that it's not about him. It's about a team of experts who are specific with what they can do or what they are doing. How about we take advantage of them? Like I said earlier, this was 30 minutes worth $1 million with Charles Njoya. See you guys on Monday, and it's going to be another wonderful, wonderful, wonderful session.